Latest on Liv Morgan alleged stalker case. Note blames WWE star. The case surrounding Sean Chan, a Canadian man accused of stalking WWE superstar Liv Morgan, has continued to develop, painting a deeply unsettling picture of obsession, boundary crossing, and the dangers public figures face when admiration turns into dangerous behavior. The criminal complaint details how Chan traveled from his home in Scarborough, Ontario, to Florida, where he ultimately made his way to Morgan's residence in what prosecutors alleged was an act of interstate domestic violence. According to court filings obtained by PW Insider, Chan arrived in Orlando on May 26th after boarding a flight from Toronto. When questioned by customs officials, he reportedly stated that his plans included staying at WWE's Performance Center. However, the Performance Center is a training facility and not a residence, meaning there was no housing arrangement in place for him. That discrepancy raised questions about his true intentions once he reached the United States. Only a few days later, Chan's alleged fixation took a darker turn. On May 30th, he went to Liv Morgan's Florida home. The complaint outlines how he circled the property several times in what appeared to be surveillance of the area. Rather than leaving when he found the front entrance inaccessible, he entered through the backyard. Court records state that he attempted to get inside to the front door, but was unsuccessful. Instead, he left a handwritten note behind, which has since been partially quoted in the official documents. The note reveals a disturbing tone of his mindset. In it, Chan claimed to be someone Morgan and others supposedly knew through an online gaming platform, stating that they had spent time interacting digitally for over a decade. He expressed anger and frustration, claiming he had been mistreated and unfairly judged. His words read more like a rant than a casual message, alternating between a defensive justification of his presence and an accusatory tone toward Morgan and her circle. "It's me, Sean, the guy you all hang out with on gaming platform online." Part of the note read, "You've been trying to contact me, or should I say reach out to me when I'm absent from that game. So who's the stalker, huh?" Chan continued by insisting that he had never done or said anything wrong during those supposed interactions, and yet felt ostracized. He characterized his visit as nothing more than a friendly gesture, dismissing the clear violation of boundaries as harmless. "I came here to pay just a friendly visit, nothing more," the note read, before quickly shifting back to resentment. "Yet, I'm the one who looks like a stalker thanks to all of you." The rest of the message carried an almost taunting tone, stating that he no longer cared to show empathy or restraint, and that he would start talking and doing whatever I want to spite all your shush finger faces. The letter closed with a chilling admission. "Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I was here." What makes the situation more alarming is that surveillance cameras captured Chan's actions around Morgan's home. WWE security personnel reviewed the footage and immediately recognized him. This discovery prompted them to alert the authorities, which set the wheels in motion for law enforcement to intervene. On June 3rd, the FBI arrested Chan, and just a few weeks later, on June 25th, he was indicted on a charge of interstate domestic violence. If convicted, the charge could lead to a sentence of up to 5 years in prison, underscoring the seriousness of the allegations. For Morgan, who has risen to prominence as one of WWE's most popular stars, this was no doubt a frightening experience. Professional wrestlers live in the public eye, and their social media presence, television appearances, and live performances make them accessible in ways that can invite unwanted attention. This case serves as a grim reminder that such visibility can attract individuals who fail to respect personal boundaries and safety. The legal process has been moving forward steadily, but new developments have highlighted further complexities. On August 20th, Chan filed a motion asking the court to reconsider its decision to detain him without bail. His attorneys argued that he should be allowed to reside at a Salvation Army facility while awaiting trial, suggesting that this arrangement could serve as a safeguard against further incidents. However, such motions often face scrutiny, particularly in cases involving alleged stalking and threats to personal safety. Adding to the complexity, Chan signed a waiver of his right to a speedy trial. This decision allows additional time for a psychiatric evaluation to take place. It suggests that his mental health and state of mind at the time of the incident may become central issues in the case. With a trial expected in November, the court will likely examine not only the actions themselves, but also the psychological underpinnings that may have contributed to them. For many fans, the details of this case are disturbingly reminiscent of a prior incident involving another WWE star, Sonya Deville. In 2020, Deville was the target of a terrifying home invasion by a man who had stalked her for months. He was eventually arrested after breaking into her home armed with weapons, and the case highlighted just how vulnerable public figures can be when faced with individuals who blur the line between fandom and fixation. Morgan's ordeal, while thankfully not escalating to physical harm, nevertheless carries the same unsettling echoes of obsession and entitlement. The psychological dimensions of such cases cannot be ignored. Stalking behavior often emerges from a combination of delusional thinking, misplaced attachment, and an inability to distinguish between fantasy and reality. In Chan's note, his contradictory statements, claiming to be making a harmless, friendly visit while simultaneously expressing hostility and resentment, illustrate the unstable thought patterns that can make such situations dangerous. Even when no physical harm is done, the mere presence of someone waiting outside a private home, leaving notes, and attempting to gain entry creates a profound sense of violation and fear for the victim. For WWE, this incident is also a call to reinforce security measures for their talent. Wrestlers, unlike traditional celebrities, are constantly on the road, moving from city to city for live events, and often share aspects of their personal lives online to engage with fans. While this accessibility is part of what builds their popularity, it also increases the risk of crossing paths with individuals who take their admiration too far. The company has previously worked closely with law enforcement in similar situations, and their quick response in Morgan's case demonstrates an awareness of these dangers. As the trial approaches, much will hinge on the results of the psychiatric evaluation. If Chan is found competent to stand trial, the proceedings will move forward in November, where the court will determine whether his actions meet the legal threshold for interstate domestic violence. His defense team may attempt to argue diminished responsibility or focus on mental health factors to mitigate potential sentencing, but the prosecution will undoubtedly emphasize the clear breach of boundaries, the disturbing content of the note, and the premeditated travel from Canada to Florida. For Liv Morgan, the incident serves as both a personal ordeal and a public example of the risks celebrities face. If Chan is found competent to stand trial, the proceedings will move forward in November, where the court will determine whether his actions meet the legal threshold for interstate domestic violence. His defense team may attempt to argue diminished responsibility or focus on mental health factors to mitigate potential sentencing, but the prosecution will undoubtedly emphasize the clear breach of boundaries, the disturbing content of the note, and the premeditated travel from Canada to Florida. For Liv Morgan, the incident serves as both a personal ordeal and a public example of the risks celebrities face.